Yeah, a lot just happened. Gonna put this out there, the game kinda just began. For better or worse, check this world shops. New weapons have been added to the inventory of the world shops. Take a peek at the armory in Caldesula. We also got a new job, so let's look at that. Let's have fun with that. Dark Knight Rises. Adversity, your physical attack and magical attack, physical defense, and magical defense each rise by 10% for 3 turns each time you take damage greater than 25% of your maximum HP. Upper limit is, of course, 150 still, so not too bad, especially with how a Dark Knight works. Dark Bane. Sacrifice 20% of your maximum HP to unleash a dark physical attack on one target that deals 1.25 times the damage of a conventional attack. Abate Dark. Adversity, Demon Master, charm one target of the demon kind family. Can't imagine how applicable that really is compared to just using charm from Vampire. See you in hell. Deal 4 times the damage of conventional attack to all enemies when you suffer a KO. Note that this will not active while re-raise is in effect. But we still have that raise from the dead from Vampire that could work with that. Minus Strike. Damage one target by an amount equal to the number of HP you have lost. So at the lowest HP, this works really well, and you can also pair it with Phoenix Flight, I think, from Monk, which brings you all the way down to 1 HP. But it is a risky move. Helm Lore, who cares? Black Bane was the one that was annoying me. Sacrifice 30% of your maximum HP to unleash a dark physical attack on all enemies. Gloom. Damage dealt by dark attacks rise 1.25 times, regardless of whether it is from a weapon, magic, or an ability. Pretty good for other uses. Generally, it does still raise our attack of most of the moves we would be using, so it's good. Absorb magic, start at the beginning of the turn. Start at the beginning of a turn to nullify damage from magic attacks during that turn and restore your MP by the amount of MP used to attack you. Does not apply to reflected magic damage. Interesting. Dark Nebula, sacrifice 20% of your maximum HP to unleash a dark physical attack on all allies and enemies that deals 4 times the damage of a conventional attack. If we get our Spirit Masters nullify elements in effect, this isn't too bad, honestly. 4 times damage. Physical attack up. Life or death. Your physical attack, physical defense, and magic defense rise 50% for 4 turns, but you enter the doomed state. Upward limit is the same, and Enrage. Dark Bane continues for a random target up to 5 times or until your HP falls to 1. So basically it's like the BP cost, but you get a bunch of Dark Banes. I guess HP falls to 1. I guess it would be a matter of if you're not at your maximum HP, but Dark Bane does 20% of your health. So 5 times is basically what... Wait, is it Dark Bane? Was it Dark Bane or Black Bane? Yeah, Dark Bane. Yeah, that's... So 5 times is what you'd expect from it. But, you know, it's hitting a lot. 5 times for the 2 BP cost compared to doing it like 3 times. Yeah, Dark Knight's really good and is probably the easiest to like cheese with. But let's actually figure out what's going on with the story right now. So, I ring a bell. Anything ringing a bell? Agnès just left town a moment ago. Off to see the Great Chasm, perhaps? Perchance? Go check out those shops. We were told they have a new inventory. Including the magic shop, which should have nothing. Never mind. I assumed the magic shop would have. I doubt there's really anything in here because it's just normal stuff. But here, though... I'm sorry, did this lie to me? New weapons have been added? Maybe, let me look at that again. I guess, like, the Claymore is technically new, but we already have 2 of those. I mean, it might just be good stuff, but whatever, it's fine. Yo, Agnès, what up? Agnès, you're not Agnès, you're Adia, my bad. Agnès said she was leaving on a short errand. Maybe she went to see the Great Chasm. Maybe she did. Let us go check it out. We probably want to check out encounters as well. Hey, friend's been updated. Looks like you're having a strange day. Yeah, I am, thank you. Don't know why you would say that to me. So yeah, new encounters are going to be out in the field as well, which is why I'm doing this, which also is going to be my explanation as to why we did not do, the full genome ability list, because we could not. I think I got everything we would have been able to prior to this, but I mean, these look like normal guys, but they are different, I swear it to you. Actually, I should have. Running might have been a little bit of a silly idea, actually. We'll just, I don't know, we'll just try to go a little bit nuts. That's a little too nuts. Do a bunch of desperations, let's see what happens. Can we handle it? Yeah, we can. That did the trick. Main thing I want to actually do, what I was thinking of, is let's, slap a genome drain on, perchance we might get hit by something. I think if I remember from my list, the, kobolds here should actually be able to. Maybe the slasher. We'll do like a normal attack. Let's see what happens. That's the one. That's really all I wanted from that. The reason I'm not doing Dark Knight right now is that I don't want to try leveling up a new job when we're just Tiz. Doesn't seem like the smartest idea. Hard at work, I see. Yep. Not hard enough, apparently. I don't even know if Desperation is doing more damage than a normal attack would do. It's adding my physical defense to my attack power, so it should. Well, looks like shit's still fucked over here.
No.
How'd I beat you here?
Tiz.
So you came too, Agnès.
Yes. What on earth is happening, Ari? We unleashed the Holy Pillar's light across the world. The Great Chasm should be gone, but here it is.
I'm not too sure myself. But take a look at this.
The 4 points of light.
Yeah, my brooch has lost its glow. The sea is tainted too. We seem to be right back before the crystals were awakened.
This is where we first began. The place we met.
But some things are different from back then.
Huh?
We have grown closer for one.
That's great, Agnès. That doesn't really help.
Do you not agree?
It doesn't really help, Agnès.
Yes. We've been through a lot together. We can do this again if it comes to it.
Tiz's brother is still dead, Agnès.
Of course.
Oh, good. Back to party chats. A recent genesis. I was thinking, Tiz. What if this world had been created a mere 5 minutes ago? Okay, getting philosophical here. What? Crystalist doctrines in scripture, historic temples, and rise and fall of nations, even our memories. All that we believe has come to pass may very well have been created a mere 5 minutes ago. That thought inevitably creeps into my mind when I see the Great Chasm before my eyes. That would mean we were created 5 minutes ago, too. Yet we can remember things before that. Yes, but what if the world had been created 5 minutes ago along with our memories of what has come to pass? Created by who? That I do not know, and yet, when you wake in the morning, is your mind not full of events that were spontaneously created in your dreams? So you're saying that our memories of what transpired were created by someone a few minutes ago? Yes, for can you say we truly experienced the events in what we believe to be the past? Listen, man, that's a lot for me to take in. I don't know, man. But even if the world were created 5 minutes ago, and even if our memories themselves were created just then, all I know is we have to close the Great Chasm no matter what. Yes, we must close the Great Chasm. And to do that, we must awaken the crystals. Shall we? Yes, let us go. Sorry, I don't know what came over me thinking about that. Just a random shower thought, I suppose, from Agnès. Tiz is like, man, I'm not really sure about any of that, but have you heard of Schrodinger's cat? It's kind of a cool concept, if you think about it. Just go get everyone and start doing something. Didn't want to auto-battle with, Agnès doing this again, but here we are. Thank goodness we were able to beat that fight. I do like how we're only getting like 14 JP from that, though. This is really strange. I wonder if Ringabel has learned anything. Good news is, we still have our abilities the way they are. And I can still do this. I don't think there's much else but to just go in. Try to figure this all out. Ring a bell. Got any ideas, my boy? Ring a bell. What up?
It is no good. No one remembers.
Huh? You mean the fire set by the Black Mage?
No, not that. I was only in this town a short while, but I met many fine women during my sojourn. These were exciting, passionate encounters. Yet no one seems to remember them.
Idia would say you had a one-track mind if she heard that. And I would agree with her.
You are right. Let us keep this between us. But is it not strange? They did not merely forget our meeting. They were unaware of my existence. It is as if the whole town is playing a prank on me.
I saw the face of that dark knight ring a bell. He looked like...
Yes, I saw it too. I'm not ready to confront that particular matter yet, though.
Let's just bury that one for now.
Has any of your memory returned?
Hey, ring a bell. I've talked with Agnès. We think we might as well just start again from the beginning.
Start again? Go on another journey to awaken the crystals?
The sea is tainted once more. I would like to check on the crystals.
Very well then. Count me in. I'll get to meet all the women of the world again, with a clean slate. Oh, what more could a man want?
You're taking this well.
Hey, everyone's coming back in. The 2 journals, yeah, I probably really should deal with that. I suspected as much. This can't be a coincidence, Renabel. I mean, the journal that the Dark Knight Alternis Dim dropped? Right, except for some obvious differences in wear and tear, it looks exactly like that D's journal we have. Right, but the similarities don't stop there. The last half is quite different, but the first half, it's almost exactly the same. It's as if Alternis' journal supplements the prophecy in D's journal. Are they truly so similar? That they are. Even the handwriting and wording are almost a perfect match. So Ringabel, you're saying D's journal is... Well, we can safely assume Alternis' journal was written by Alternis Dim himself. And the portion of D's journal here that resembles it. D's journal. Who could have... Oh, you're alright, Ringabel. I'll be fine. Just give me a little time to think. Let's get the band back together and then we'll take a look at that journal. We're gonna have to do a hefty bit of reading, I think. But we'll get there.
Idia!
Oh, there you are. It's strange, isn't it? I don't want to believe that everything we've done up to now was just a dream. I went as far as betraying my homeland and my father to follow this path.
It was no dream. I remember your struggles.
But does it not seem that my circumstances here are unique?
Yours specifically?
At first I thought time had merely been wound back. I don't know whether it's a side effect of the darkness being cleansed, or whether some powerful magic was accidentally triggered. But it doesn't add up. Why am I here with you now?
I guess that is a fair point. She brought it up earlier, but if we reverse time, she would have still been with Crow at this moment.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Oh, okay.
You are not the only one for whom things don't make sense. If time had been turned back, there are things that would not add up for me either. I spent close to a week here, yet all memory of me has been erased from the women. The people of the town.
That's a good point, too. He was established here prior.
Really?
Don't think too hard about it now. There are too many unanswered questions.
Gosh. Saying don't think too hard about it now sure is a, emblematic of what is about to transpire, I feel like.
All the more reason for us to start again from scratch, I think.
From scratch?
Let us make for the crystal temples.
I see. Okay, I'll do it. I've come this far. I might as well stick around.
That's the spirit.
First, let's go back to the inn and compare notes.
Okay. I guess that comparing notes is the perfect time to read about journals. The two of you. Come to think of it, when I first came to this land, you were the first one to speak to me, Ringabel. Was I? It seems so long ago. I do recall going over to talk to you after seeing you on the street corner. Yes, that was our very first meeting. We did read about that in the D's journal. The Ringabel who I met when I first set foot on this land, and the Ringabel standing before me now, they somehow seem like two different people. Two different people? I don't know what to say, but Captain Owen did mention something. What's that? He said things like, let's go boar hunting again sometime, or wherever you've been these past few days. Where have you been these past few days? When I told him I had no idea what he was talking about, he let out a hearty laugh and said I was quite the jester. Then I met you at the Great Chasm, Tiz. And after that, the Black Mage Ominous Crow put the city to flames and all four of us finally met. My memory still fails me. The only thing I can do now is to compare Dee's journal to Alternis's. Huh. So yeah, I mean, Ringabel said that no one remembered him, but then Owen does, apparently. Yeah, they'll probably talk about it when we go to the inn. But let's just do this now. Let's, before we start with Alternis's journal, we didn't finish this last bit here. How many days have passed since I left his side? A pillar of light has stood above the southern sea for some time now, just as he predicted. That guy! That leaves little room to doubt his second prediction will hold true. Within the coming days, the vessel and her friends will come here. Only pray I have the strength to stop them as I was asked to. I know those people, look at them. Look at Tiz with the shield, look at Agnès with her staff, Adia with her samurai sword, wearing their freelancer outfit. Thinking back, the vessel's followers have been with her from the start, ever since Caldesla. Agnès oblige, vessel to the wind crystal. Never imagined a young girl I met on that pier would bear such a fate. So... interesting. And 'tis Arier. For the boy I pulled from that canyon river to become a guard and ally to the vessel on her journey. It seems on so many counts I bear the fault for all of this. A long harsh journey to erase the Great Chasm. A vessel who crossed the putrid sea and stagnant air to arrive. A boy whose home was swallowed. In retrospect, they seem a natural pair. Inevitable, even. And Adia, I expect you, too, will join the vessel here. You were ever a tomboy, capricious, pure and stubborn, quick to tears. Perfect. I know not what it is you see in the vessel, what spark resonated within you, but I swear this now, I will keep you safe at any cost. I always longed for a family. Look at... I will not see it destroyed. I was gonna say, look at, like, baby Adia, but then, like, also look at young, Brave. He looks so cool with his jacket. The ship's siren has begun to sound, and the pilot's taking her up, just as planned. The time has come, then. This may be the last entry I am able to write. I am removing Adia's picture from its frame and placing it within these pages. I want her by my side. What is that spooky thing? And what is that? And then in the first page we did have... or was it this one? At some point we did have Adia's picture in here. Just don't remember where. Not to mention, like I thought it was at the end of one of these. Whatever. So that kind of correlates with what happened. And also indicates that I probably should not have read these when I did, but we worked with it. Duckle Reckoning 9116. The Council of Six ship, the Black Knight, weighed anchor today. Our destination, Chime. This marks the first entry in my fourth journal kept since my tenures as an officer began. My current mission, to collect the airship newly developed in Anchime's secret shipyard. I'm to transport the Skystone given to me by the Grand Marshal and see it installed, rendering the new vessel skyworthy. I just set a southeastward course and noticed my coffee's gone cold. I had it cleared away. The view beneath me is a sea of clouds, its eastern edge taking on a ruddy tinge as my fresh cup is brought. This aroma is one of my day's few luxuries. I want to actually see real quick. We'll do our own cross-referencing. 9:20. I lower myself into bed with a sigh. My right hand unconsciously drifts to the back of my headboard. Oh, this has the picture. There it is. She was number 3. Look at her with her little peace sign. And I'm wondering if that means these asterisk, because like jobs systems are going to be the same. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. So this is going to be like a clearer picture, honestly. Unless if it is different. Form the words time and again as I watch the new ship in tow. There's like potential for them to be different, I feel like, but I'm not gonna go back to the asterisk ones, at least not right now. I've come to the Profiteer Merchantry's secret shipyard in Anchime. Work installing the Skystone within the newly built ship I'm to collect is at a standstill. 3 days of waiting, the heat is stifling, and the coffee drowned in sugar. I hate this place. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it! It is to be called the Echelon. I'm surprised the first word from Adia's lips upon seeing the blueprints has become its official designation. I'd raced for another night of catnapping in the sweltering dock, but just received word that Skystone is set and sealed. The ship's main flight is to the Floorchime Sea, where the ship I rode here is berthed. While it lacks the horsepower of a heavy cruiser like the Black Knight, the ship is nimble and its design pleasing. I find myself quite taken with it. Following her test flight to Floorchime Sea, the Echelon has begun seafaring tests. I'm confident the ship's power, speed, maneuverability, and defenses all meet the requirements laid forth by the Sky Knights. The airship originally assigned to the Sky Knights suffered damage during the initial incursion into Caldessa and crashed. The mission to tow the newly completed Echelon to Caldessa's Lantana Villa will commence in 1 month's time. It will be Adia's first sortie. Look at that picture. It falls on me to spend the next 10 days overseeing thorough testing of the craft's abilities to withstand the Sky Knight's rough handling. And then we have this, where he sees it. Long hear her voice, sweet like the spring breeze. Let it speak my name and I shall die a happy man. You hear the nervous shuffling outside my door. Someone afraid to disturb me. Not afraid enough, it seems. I return the photo. I'm awake. What is it? In the manual, turn to Adia's smile, perfectly preserved within the picture frame. The Echelon, my lips form the words time and again as I watch the new ship in tow from my cabin porthole. I make for Caldessa aboard the airship, the Black Knight. I entrusted a subordinate with the task of towing the Echelon to Duchy waters, and now sail to give word to the Sky Knights. And now sail, I don't know why that was hard for me. It was like a late afternoon by the time we moored at the Lantana Villa's air dock. Ah, is this our new boat? It's so black and punchy. I feel like that's the monk. As I descended to the villa roof, I was met with the loudest misunderstanding I've ever encountered. What? Why send our new ship back to the duchy? We're here, man. Bring it to us. Bring it! Or just give us this one, either or. Constant shouting aside, Barris Lear's point is utterly reasonable. To him, at least, one assumes, but he's not getting my ship. Hey kid, you made it. When I reached the villa's study, I was greeted with a rough slap to the back from Henkel, captain of the Sky Knights. He continues to treat me like a boy despite my superior rank. Strangely, I don't really mind. Arguing with him is a waste of time regardless. 2 hours later, I sat down to a table laid heavily with a feast. What began as a welcome celebration for me ended in a horror show of Barris's inhuman appetite and Henkel and Holly's tag team drinking. Adia will serve in Omnis's unit. I was sobering up on the balcony when Henkel came to deliver that news, leaving me wholly flustered. I could see his grin from the corner of my eyes as he raises his glass in a mock toast. Knight Argent Henkel. Tales of his feats, not feasts, go back before the duchy's founding. He holds the Grand Marshal's trust to the point of once serving as captain of his personal guard. For some reason, this hero has taken interest in me from a young age. I owe him more than I can hope to repay. Look at that guy! Look at him drinking! Henkel's proposal would have been confusing enough, even without the exquisite hangover clouding my brain. I asked if he was mad to suggest infiltrating the Caldessa castle town. His reply came with a laugh. You didn't seem to think so when you volunteered for the job. I should have smelled a trap when he brought that flagon out to the balcony. Going undercover all alone for little Adia's sake? Oh, what a man. I might swoon. Oh, that's Holly. That makes more sense. I didn't think that sounded like Henkel. Leave it to Holly to smell blood in the water and join in the teasing. Just leave me alone. Don't tease me. Yes, yes! Charge into enemy territory and single-handedly smash everything! Strategy! Where do I even begin with Barras? Also, his voice is splitting my head in two. Why is he performing maintenance on my ship? Maybe black, but my armor is hardly subtle. So off comes the helmet for this mission. I'm leaving my sword as well. Wait, am I seriously going through with this? I was dropped away from the city, told to await a smoke signal, and with that, my ship left for the villa once more. And that's when we get this. My armor and these clothes hang oddly on me. I feel naked, unarmed. This was when he became friends with Owen. Splendid building. Yeah. Inside I found a man with a gentle mind. Asked him, all full. Offer some vision of the same excuse. When I inquired after a place to eat, he said down by the port. Back he goes. I myself into the empty house next door, the inn, and he slept there. Sword practice. This is when he met Owen. This is a long one. I forgot about this one. But I think this is where Agnès came into the picture. Oh, this also might be the boar hunt. Okay, he joins the boar hunt. If you remember, long ago, when we read this before, though, when he was fighting the boar, I thought there was an easier way to look at this. Fighting boar. Trader Clear still woke. I kept silence, but he pressed on. It was in here somewhere. I think he's the writer here, which we can assume is Alternis. Alternis says like Dark Bane. Or leapt out. Was it here? No, the rustling happened there. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to find. Was it somewhere else? It must have been. Was it here? Voice treatment, invite me to the end. He lied. Come to my place tomorrow. This is new. I stood before the king of Caldesla. Owen seemed determined to drag me into the king's service. It's a mercy he didn't know he was speaking to one of Eternia's Council of Six. Expect the embarrassment would be crippling. The Caldesla king lacks any presence, any fire outside and in. He's utterly common. If I were to kill this man where he stands, would it aid Adia? Remembering that I am unarmed and that Owen isn't, nips any plotting in the bud. After regaling the king with tales of my valor, he pushes for my appointment to the king's guard. I parry with a roundabout excuse. Perhaps the king mistook my hesitation for modesty, but he did not press the point. The audience ended and Owen schemed with it. I left the palace surreptitiously, noting the number of guards, their equipment, and any other indication of Caldesla's might. To be blunt, Owen is the only real obstacle here. Given Henkel's strength, I expect he could take the kingdom by brute force if necessary. Mostly I just passed the time. I was enjoying a cup. Happened in an instant. I felt something was... The fire. Okay, in the sky. Shockwave. Narende. The door. Was it when he saves Tiz that he says the thing? Once team searched the river. I have a long sword at my side, a new one this time, in good condition. Young man. There he is, Tiz. I think it might have been this then. Like, enemies attack. Goblins. This is Winnie Darkbanes. Okay, that was my confusion. Saves Tiz. Now go! Black Bane! So there we go. So if you don't know what a Dark Knight does in Final Fantasy, that isn't like a clear hint at anything, but it is a... I think it's a really obvious one if you know. If you know, you know, you know. And then there's this when he meets Agnès. Stopped outside. This time I was wrong. Well, actually, no, we already saw that when he went to the inn and they let him in, right? Or let her in. One young girl. No, never mind. Here it is. Agnès came from the ship. So, I mean, obviously, in this journal, Alternis isn't like... He knows everything. There's not, like, mixed up things here. So he, just doesn't know that Agnès is the vessel. And he just has that awkward conversation with her. Okay, and now new stuff. As the morning mist cleared, I saw traces of a smoke signal hanging in the southern sky. I ate breakfast the same as any other day and saw Owen off to work. I owe him a great debt that he knows and a few apologies. After one last cup of the innkeep's coffee, I departed. Out for another of your walks? Asked the old trader as I passed. Something like that was my reply. I handed him what money I had and asked him to bring whatever medicine it brought to the boy later. With the city behind me, I broke into a run for the lake to the southwest. Along the way, I encountered 3 packs of monsters. The longsword I'd been given broke midway through the third. Arrived to find the Black Knight moored and waiting. Aboard the ship, I donned my jet black armor and helm for the first time in 2 weeks. With my trusty blade hung at my side, I made for the bridge. There, my crew informed me of our return orders. My new mission is to survey the changes occurring throughout the world and report them to the council. The report on Caldesla had already been sent from the Lontano Villa. The conclusion that the Great Chasm that appeared beneath Narende was both cause and effect of the quake. No threat in region save Captain Owen's blades. After firing off a wire to Henkel, I gave the order to return to Eternia. As we neared the crags, I received an urgent wire from Anchime. Wind vessel missing! A description of the ship she was thought to have taken followed, as well as its destination. Surely not, I thought, but the facts align. Agnès, the vessel of wind? I sent another wire to Henkel and a copy home to the council. In reply, I received word that Adia had been charged with the vessel's apprehension. Their operation begins tomorrow. I had hoped to send her off on her first mission. A shame. Sky Knight routed the vessel and the crew commandeered the SK ship with Adia in tow. And there she is in tow. Night of the Eternia Sky, 4th Division of the Eternia Forces is lost. More than anything, it was Henkel's defeat that shook the ranks, shook me as much as anyone. As I summarized what information I had, local news reports arrived to provide more details. One bore the headline, Vessel of Wind breezes into Caldesla. The vessel... Okay, this is like between this time, so that doesn't really say much. The vessel joined by Tiz Aurier... Is this news? Local news reports really reported on this? The vessel joined by Tiz Aurier, survivor of Narende, promised the king they would rout the duchy's Sky Knights. Days later, she thwarted the Eternia siege and beat their men at the lake in the south to the southwest. Okay, that was the Holly and Monk man. I forgot his name already. Tiz, that boy. God, imagine. I guess I get why Alternis is a little pissy, because he's like, how did I let all of this happen? I made sure that boy was okay. I had a run-in with the wind vessel. Things are not going great. I get why Caldesla would be the ones that reported on this. In recognition of her sparing the land from the Sky Knight's cannons, Caldesla's king offered her his full support, swearing to send his full force north to strike the duchy's base pending the bridge's repair. That battle saw Barris and Holly face the vessel. They were good soldiers. The Wind Vessel and Tiz Warrior set out for the ruins of Sintro Keep to defeat the mage responsible for torching Caldesla's castle town. Seeing an opportunity in the vessel's absence, the duchy struck the palace by airship, slaying the captain of the guard and abducting the king. Owen. So this... Presumably because this is Alternis' journal, though. This is everything that happened when we were doing stuff. Someday after the keep's fall, the vessel and her 3 accomplices struck Lontano Villa and absconded with the Estrellat. Eyewitness reports confirmed that Hinkle lured them aboard the ship and that they engaged in combat. The knight's whereabouts are presently unknown. A guardsman on the day of the attack claims he learned of Black Mage Ominous Crow's death at the hands of the bloodthirsty vessel through a report from Adia Lee. He opened the gates for her immediately after. Was Adia taken hostage by the vessel and her henchmen? The Council of Six was called, and I delivered the collected findings of my investigation in Caldesla. Orders for the vessel's arrest were sent to Anchime's Kamer and Profiteer Merchantry. Half a month after giving the order, no word of the vessel's capture has returned, nor any certain news of her at all, in fact. No words of the vessel's capture. One report claims she returned to Anchime on the 5th, while another suggests she fled its borders again on the 11th. Potentially when she showed up and then left to go to the Crystal, I would assume. We don't really know dates very well. I've gathered the major reports documenting the changes befalling the world since the chasm's emergence. Multiple sources confirm that, save a few stretches of sea, the oceans all show signs of rot, causing their mass death of marine life and precluding ships from sailing. Next reports confirm that the westerlies, trade winds, polar easterlies, and seasonal winds have died. No sea breezes, no currents down mountains or through valleys, no word as to the cause. In civil war-torn Eisenberg, volcanic activity has spiked, resulting in massive casualties. Even within the duchy, reports claim the crags are rising. The effect this bears on air currents is under study, but no conclusions have yet emerged. Victor has theorized that the crystals of fire, water, wind, and earth have all entered a state of quasi-dormancy in the wake of the chasm's appearance. After delivering my report to the council, the Grand Marshal gave me direct orders to investigate Anchime. I'll ask an excuse to look into what's befallen Adia. I was packed within the hour and now write from the Black Knight's Bridge. Floor chime inner sea remains unsullied. I know we've already read this, but I'm gonna just skim it so we know generally what we're looking at. Walk to port asking after the vessel's whereabouts. Brings Anchime's proper. A clockwork metropolis. Across the desert, it seems these ceaseless winds have ceased in the chasm's wake. Too tired, apathetic to answer my questions. One man, perhaps motivated by the coin I flash, blushed awkwardly as he stammers this. Try Yulana Woods. He turned and ran without taking it. Very odd. I returned to my almanac. Yulana Woods, the hidden heart of the ancient woods northeast of Anchime. Would this have been... Yeah, so the wind hasn't started up yet. So we, I guess we did make way to this after finding out that we needed the vessel garb. So that's probably what brought him there. This makes 10 days I've run around Anchime, from the palace to the Temple of Wind, the Harina ruins, and back to Anchime. Still no sign of the vessel, no signs of Adia. Even in the Miasma Woods, Soul Land route connecting Anchime with Florum, home of the water crystal, I found nothing of use. After camping in the desert, I have sand in every crack of my armor, making it screech with every movement. Just now a report from the lookout. A flash in the southern sky, multiple sources confirm it. By the time I reached the inner sea, details had arrived from the men I left in Ansheim. Apparently, the light rose from the direction of the Temple of Wind. I have a bad feeling. So, I mean, I guess that time between where he couldn't find any thing about her would have been when she went to get the garb done. The vessel heaped abuse upon the king, then presented something to the agitated masses assembling there. It was a chain bearing an evil sigil. The glassy eye mob reached fever pitch. And we did see this when we read about it before, prior to actually doing that event. The vessel pointed south. The delirious mob turned their eyes to the sky, crying out her name. They moved to approach her, but the zealous crowd was packed tight. Fearing for his life, the king fled to the palace, escorted by his guard. So we didn't really see him in the crowd, but I guess we can assume he was probably there. The crowd was only like 5 people, wasn't it? Days have passed, and still the people of Ansheim form a human wall around the vessel. It seems as if his person guarding her really is the boy we saved. Still no sign of Adia. I feel like she would have been right there, but whatever. I've received word that the vessel has been in contact with Prime Minister Dominus Harina. Fed up with the heat, I shed my armor and patrolled the palace in plain clothes. A voice called to me from the distance, and a shock raced up my spine. It was Adia. What are you sneaking around here for, Ringabel? Ringabel? Who in the blazes is Ringabel? She ran straight for me. You called, Adia, came a reply from behind me. In a moment of panic, I hid in the crowd and fled the area. I emerged near the bazaar and was choking down a cup of the sugar water that passes for coffee here when the scout I'd put on the vessel's trail sent word. Seems she and her minions make for the echelon, moored in the inner sea. What are you sneaking around here for? Why would he panic? That seems bizarre, but also I guess you have to make things work out for the story, right? Yeah, okay, and then this is when he shows up at the echelon. Full day has passed since the vessel boarded the echelon. It's taken time to load the supplies furnished by the Prime Minister, but it seems that delay nears its end. I boarded the ship alone. None of them suspected a thing. I began with Tiz, striking him unconscious, punching him straight in the gut. The vessel screamed. I demanded her name, confirming that she truly is the one from Caldesla. I doubt she recognized me, given my armored state. Then she appeared from the neighboring cabin. I'd waited so long to see her. I reached out to Adia, assuring her that her capture at the hands of the vessel was at an end. The words she spoke then were unthinkable. Adia wasn't really in a cabin. They were all kind of in the same place, weren't they? I'm not her captive, and she poses no threat. I'm here of my own free will. I think that is what she said, though, so maybe I'm just misunderstanding. Was she joking? Temporarily insane? No matter how many times I beseeched her, she refused to heed reason. When words failed, she drew her sword on me. Adia threatened to resist if I harmed the vessel. Well, I had no fear of losing. She's too tough an opponent to subdue unharmed. I could not bring myself to harm the Grand Marshal's daughter. At a loss, I decided to content myself with hobbling the vessel. I destroyed the sky stone powering the echelon and made my escape. Unable to fly and trapped by the putrid oceans, the echelon is now a prisoner of the inner sea. Adia, a traitor? I must get word of this to the Grand Marshal immediately and discreetly. Ignoring the storm of questions and emotions raging within me, I boarded the Black Knight and set sail. I guess that's the destroyed sky stone. He's such a good artist. Curse my traitorous tongue! What have I done? In one thoughtless moment, what have I wrought? I gave the council my report on the vessel's actions in Ansheim and the Wind Crystal's awakening. Were I not a fool, I'd have stopped there. Victoria's idle suspicions gave way to Victor's inevitable question, and I found myself unable to avoid mention of Adia. I ought to have delivered the news to the Grand Marshal in private, or at very least, not in the company of these two. They have ever held a grudge for Adia, and have delivered them a perfect excuse to torment her. They even pressed the Grand Marshal for his word that all enemies of the duchy must be killed, and now they make for Florum? They spoke of apprehending the vessel, but I have my doubts as to their true intentions. I begged the Grand Marshal's permission to travel to Flora myself. Perhaps I can enlist in Heria's aid. It's a gamble I must take. Good they haven't come by. I was worried I might run into them here. That would complicate matters. A little more than beg her help in the broadest of terms. Then I was back at my ship and away again. I wonder, he either means Victoria and Victor, or, what's her name, sisters. I would assume Victor and Victoria is who he's talking about. Because, Inheria is the Valkyrie, so he went to her for help. And we did see that. Though perhaps... Wait, no, that's this one, right? No. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I got confused. Asterisk, we already know about. Ask for help. Bit out of date, the ship's almanac has this to say of Florum. Just talks about Florum. Sounds like a recipe for carnage if those two heard these words. Without Chrysalis, they reject war and conflict, instead choosing a live, peaceful life. So, yeah, he's definitely talking about Victor and Victoria. Racked with anxiety since Victor and Victoria entered Florum, I decided to reach out to them for periodic reports. The response I received showed Victor's cold concision. Stop meddling. Curse them both! On the other hand, the reports from Inheria's people on the vessel's doings and the state of Florum are piling up. The vessel was sighted within the city, then in the Temple of Water. Upon her return, she departed once more. Witnesses report her party made for Mount Fragmentum in the east. Only tomorrow remains before this miserable year is over. I can only pray the next brings greater peace. I'll not hold my breath. After months of anxious silence, they finally sent a wire. The wind vessel entered the Sacred Flower Festival. What? Inheria was kind enough to elaborate in her report. She suspects the wind vessel's participation in a tawdry beauty pageant in an attempt to make contact with the vessel of water, currently in hiding. At least that makes some sense. That's where we got our information to get into the festival. Gonna actually have a lot of new reports. Actually, a massive amount of new reports here. That begs the question, once we get to it, we did have parts in here that didn't really add up, but we will continue to read because this is very important, and I think it's worth just getting it out of the way, honestly. Word came just before dawn that the Galleon Grand Healer had ignored traffic control directives and docked atop Central Command. Just before dawn, Galleon Grand Healer. I guess that is Victor's ship. Yeah, okay. The Grand Healer is Victor's personal airship. Should have just kept reading instead of questioning it. Victoria will be aboard as well, no doubt. The stunt they've pulled docking without permission shows the regard they have for the rule of Eternia law. Any efforts I made to question their intentions were ignored as Victor marched past me to the central elevator. Victoria held in his arms. Seems he made straight for the white magic circulation hub on the ground level. Oh, was this when the, they fought Agnès and Victoria got messed up? I found the guard standing watch along the way, bleeding and unconscious. What madness is this? The white magic circulation hub stands at the east of the first floor of the Central Command, lined floor to ceiling with odd machinery. It has always made me uncomfortable. Found Victoria floating in a chamber of fluids that resembled a great mechanical heart. Victor stood nearby, staring at monitors and muttering. The lecture can wait. He spoke without turning to face me. My report as well. Victoria, try to bear it. He opened some valve and the color of the fluid deepened. I took it upon myself to report Victor's return, Victoria's treatment to the Grand Marshal. I summoned Victor's lieutenant and got the details from him. Victor and Victoria remain ensconced in the white magical circulation hub. Meanwhile, Victor's man offered an account of what had transpired. I added his report to my collected findings on Florum. An official account of the event had this to say. The Vessel of Wind appeared in Florum's Sacred Flower Festival wearing full vestal regalia. Though traditionally famed for their piety, the people met her with cold dismissal, and the vessel's pleas were drowned out by the jeering crowd. I don't remember the jeering crowd. Kind of sounded like they stopped talking when she said her thing. Years into the Blood Rose Legion's infiltration campaign, prodigious funds and an aggressive citizen reprogramming effort have won them near complete control of Florum. I know we already knew how messed up their the Blood Roses infiltration campaign was, but it feels like especially gross hearing it be called like citizen reprogramming. Which, like, yeah, that is what it was, but ugh. The news entity responsible for producing the above report is essentially a mouthpiece of the Legion. Meanwhile, a bulletin from the Orthodoxy struck a different tone. As false rites come to close, the babbling brook's voice reaches the wind. Though it blows west, it cannot sense the shadow close behind it. What? A coded plea for help from that meager resistance remains. Put plainly, it states that the Sacred Flower Festival's end, the water vessel sent word to the Vessel of Wind. The latter left to meet her, but failed to notice the assassins on her tail. A second such notice follows soon after. The water rises to meet the demon child's light, shielding the air as it vanishes into vapor. Left alone, the winds howl in mourning and rage with purpose. Heh, demon child. In that description, it seems the water vessel was killed protecting her colleague from the Victoria, and Victor's subordinate reported that it was in the battle that followed that Victoria succumbed to a fit, prompting Victor to spirit her back to the duchy. News continues to flood in from Florum, hot on Victor's heels. The same Orthodoxy rag reports that the Vessel of Wind awakened the water crystal, celebrating the return of the world's ocean security. Reports from across the globe corroborate this claim. This makes 2 crystals awaken at the vessel's hands. Victoria is still out, and Victor is seeing to her around the clock. The council chamber feels barren with only 2 of the 6 in attendance. The air hangs heavy. We've received word that the vessel has departed Florum, but none of her destination. The purification of the world's oceans had snapped the tether binding her there. There are those who fret she's lost for good, but there are only 2 places she would go. The Crystal of Earth is protected by the Duchy's crags, and the bulk of the Eternia forces, it's unlikely she'll head there first. That leaves Eisenberg and the Fire Crystal. I sent word to our men there to be vigilant, and received a response from Grand Ship. From the minutes of setting of the Grand Ship Council, the Vessel of Wind and entourage arrived some days ago. The council debated for 5 days' time whether this was to be taken as an official visit or a simple act of tourism. She departed further west before a conclusion was reached. Seems an agent of the Shield Bearers has also come requesting aid several times, but I doubt he'll find the infamous Sleeping Council any more forthcoming than the vessel did. Now we wait for the vessel to be snared in the nets of the fleet we've placed in the Sea of Corsair. The fleet? There's like 1 ghost ship that didn't even see us. Eisenberg, the vessel's next likely target, and war-torn theater to Eternia's 1st Division. These last few days I've been reviewing the notes from my time there 4 years ago, before my appointment to the Council of 6. Situated south of the Eternia continent, Eisenberg is composed of active volcanoes and sustained by the rich mineral deposits beneath the soil. Mining, refinery, and metal casting are its chief industries, and mithril steel one of its most precious exports. An exceptionally hard metal refined from locally mined ore. Upward of 80% of the world's mithril originates in Eisenberg's mines. In rare cases, the same veins have yielded orichalcum. Orichalcum, an extremely precious metal found exclusively in Eisenberg. Its durability is unrivaled. This is like partially, we have read this before. Make it ideal for use in weapons and armors. But this is also where it kind of seemed like the plot veered in a different direction in the original D's journal. Its extreme amount of energy releases when the metal is melted under high pressure. Civil war has persisted in Eisenberg for 4 years, with the land divided between the Swordbearer and Shieldbearer factions. The Black Blades, 1st Division of the Eternia forces, assists the Swordbearers, making up for the latter's vastly inferior numbers and evening the balance of power in the region. One could say the evils troubling the duchy today have their roots in the outbreak of this war 4 years ago. As allies in anti-crystalism, the duchy had an understanding with the dissident faction known as the Sword Bearers for some time. The declaration of uprising came together with an urgent request for aid. It was far earlier than we had expected. We were unprepared. Yet Eisenberg was a stronghold of crystalism, second only to Florum. The Sword Bearers represented the entirety of the nation's anti-crystalist movement. As the philosophy's chief proponent, the duchy could not deny their plea. The shield-bearer forces outnumbered the sword-bearers 100 to 1. The war would end in one swift massacre. The Grand Marshal responded by deploying Swordmaster Kamizumi's 1st Division under the guise of a mercenary band known as the Black Blades. So, acting like they weren't part of Eternia's forces. The Blades' pre-dawn infiltration of Eisenberg's borders and the subsequent airship raids were successful. Stark Fort was ours by the next morning. Not yet a council member, I was sent to inspect the fortress 2 weeks after its capture and to compile a dossier on its status of its layout. This was also part of that. We're getting a more fuller picture of this, 13 pages, but these were, I think, separate pages prior. That was when I was first approached by Swordbearer Commander Eumire Astray. He came with effusive thanks for the duchy's support, and none too subtle demands that the report I send to the Grand Marshal paint a glowing picture of the uprising. The fact remains that the rebel leader acted in haste, and their imprudence dragged Eternia into a struggle from which it stood to gain nothing. The commander, for his part, was overjoyed, drunk on the Swordbearer's first decisive victory. I could not conceal my mounting frustration at his oblivious presumptions. Was the, let me turn page. I'm sorry, I got a little... This one. This one? This one basically says that they took the one castle relatively recently. They took it as Wind Vessel was coming in, right? I guess this is also just his report about things that happened here, so maybe that's not the case. An urgent wire came from Black Blades in Eisenberg, Wind Vessel in Eisenberg. No more codes, no indirection. This is a public announcement, loud and clear. It seems the Swordmaster and Adia have already crossed blades. Attached to the report was a message penned by Kamizumi himself, confirming the danger he feels the vessel poses to Eternia, and forewarning of the possibility that he will be forced to kill Adia in dealing with this danger. An urgent report arrived today from Eisenberg. Somehow, the vessel has awakened the fire crystal. That's a big time leap. Swordmaster Kamizumi is missing, and morale among the remaining blades wanes by the day. But again, that's an interesting point, because going to awaken the fire crystal had us go into the mines and all that. And in the D-Journal report, Alternis had an encounter with Adia in the volcanic caves. And it seemed like he kind of ended up adopting Eagle in that report, but this seems to not be the case here. As this intelligence left Central Command in an uproar, further reports arrived from agents placed in the Shieldbearer camp. I will use this space to gather and sort through them. Wind Vessel allies with Shieldbearer Commander Goodman offers to investigate Toxic Mist. Her party departs, presumably for Grop Keep. Wind Vessel returns to Goodman with Mist sample, proposing to cast it into magma. Goodman agrees. Vessel to raid Mythal Mines, aid urgently requested. After capturing mines, Vessel takes captured orphans from Stark Fort. Just one captured orphan, Eagle. She now makes for the Mythal Mines again, purpose unknown. Vessel finds passage to Fire Temple at rear of Mythal Mines. Signs suggest Crystal of Fire has been awakened. Vessel departs Eisenberg, destination unclear. And then they lose her, and that's when she goes to the Grand Ship. 1 month has passed since reports of the Fire Crystal's awakening. So just keep that in mind. A month was supposed to have gone by from awakening the crystal and doing the Grand Ship stuff. All of Central Command has been busy with the fortification of the Earth Crystal's defenses and enhancing the 3 passages' security. Victoria is still in recovery. Testimony from soldiers returning from Eisenberg and reports from agents within the shield bearers are piling up. Among them, notice from a mechanic aboard the Swordmaster's airship, Yagwei, fearing attack from the vessel. It reads the commander of the Swordbearers stole the ship and fled. Kamizumi must be in a state. And we did see that. He was like, you gotta give me my ship, man. Sure, I just saw that at the bottom it says Praline Fan Club, and I'm so hyped. Sure, he has a bad reputation, but he tended to our wounds and the enemies too. That's gotta count for something, right? Blackblade support member. It's our fault. We were tasked with banding together and protecting it, but we lost the concert bridge. Whatever. Swordbearer Guard, Praline. I guess the bad reputation is talking about Salvemaker. What was his name? It starts with an O. After returning from the banquet, staff officers commenced an army-wide spy purge. This will be my last report, Field Operative Eisenberg. Yeah, I guess that's like after the banquet happened, someone got out to say like, hey, things went bad and they're looking for spies now. There can be no doubt the vessel will come for the Earth Crystal. No means of flight, however. The crags bar her entry into the duchy. Word of the vessel's activities has come in from Caldesla and Grandship, albeit sporadically. Yeah, because we had to go to Caldesla to get rid of Eagle. Our agent in Caldesla offered an especially puzzling update. We'll bring the orphan to the inn we set out from. Why did the agent say that? Seems she traveled back and forth from Eisenberg to present a child to Caldesla as king. I guess that's the report, is that they heard the vessel say that because they were reading the book. So, you know, it kind of looped into itself. Meanwhile, Grand Ship's sinking has accelerated, culminating in a mass exodus of the residents. Seems the sleeping council finally managed a swift decision, their own evacuation. Grand Ship sank overnight! Our operative there fled along with the residents, sending this shocking note soon after. The report continues. The council fled, leaving the remaining citizens to panic. Amid the chaos, I saw the vessel and cohorts make for the council chamber. Shortly after, a terrible tremor shook the ship, and I was trampled unconscious by a flood of evacuees. That's how the ship disappeared. He got trampled. I woke in a lifeboat half a league from the Grand Ship, and then no one reported that the ship flew away. A loud explosion followed, and Grand Ship began to submerge. A second blast followed soon after then. The report suddenly ends there. The vessel's condition and whereabouts are still unknown. I guess parts of the ship did sink, but I don't know. Still kind of crazy to me that no one knew. Upon reporting Grand Ship's disappearance to the Council of Six, a few days ago, the Grand Marshal issues orders placing the entire Eternia forces on high alert. Grand Ship has crossed the crags and entered Duchy airspace. I think a Leviathan barely able to float could fly, let alone cross mountains accessible only to galleon-class airships. I have no doubt this is the vessel's doing. The vessel and company landing in Southmoor, breaching Frost Peak Passage with disconcerting ease. Upon receiving word of the vessel's arrival in Eternia proper, the Grand Marshal ordered the white magic cable valve shut. There's the guys! I know those guys! Apparently never saw ring a bell though. Shutting off the supply of healing waves from Everlast Tower into Greater Eternia will prevent patients from receiving vital treatment. Among those affected will be the Grand Marshal's wife, Adia's mother. Military assets such as the Tundra Golems and captive dragons notwithstanding, the number of actual Eternia soldiers within the Duchy's borders is woefully small. We are unable to make contact with the divisions stationed elsewhere. Even ascertaining conditions in the city is difficult under present circumstances. That seems a little silly because I feel like Alternis already knows that that happened. That like the other forces are not going to be able to help. 3 passages connecting Central Command to the rest of Eternia, west, center, and east. Being the shortest route, main power turrets and other defenses have been concentrated within the central passage. It should be ironclad, the other 2 paths sadly less so. I guess it was ironclad because I was not able to get past it. Evacuees from the city have brought news from outside. No one remains, military or civilian, and no combat between the vessel and our forces has taken place. The vessel and Adia entered the central healing tower, paid a visit to the Grand Marshal's wife, and now apparently make for Central Command. Word of their arrival at Eternia Central Command came in the form of cannon fire. Victoria deployed to meet them with Victor in tow. They were, however, defeated and retreated to the White Magic Circulation Hub. There, they gave a noble last stand. He did it. He apprehended the vessel. He had them asleep in an instant, and ordered me to deliver Adia to her chambers and the others to the dungeons before he departed for the council chamber. I suspect he played some role in the duchy's establishment, the same as the old man. Both hold seats on the Council of Six, though they have stood perennially empty. Did he come to Eternia's rescue in our time of need, or does he bear some other agenda? Adia somehow escaped from her chambers. The guard posted at her door claims it did not open once and insists his vigil was without interruption. Now that I think of it, she performed a similar feat once when we were children. After escaping, Adia freed the vessel and her 2 companions as well. The old man played a hand as well, blasting open the door to the dungeon before departing the Central Command aboard the old airship. What drove him, a member of the Council of Six, to side with the vessel? Lord DeRozo vanished as well, leaving only myself and the Grand Marshal to remain. Upon their escape, the vessel fled to the city of Eternia before returning to strike Central Command again shortly after. If she passes this point, the Earth Crystal is lost. I made up my mind to fight alongside the Grand Marshal, swearing to protect him and his ideals at any cost. My resolve was set, and yet... what did he have to say to him? Leaving the Grand Marshal alone in the council chamber, I boarded the Black Knight and set about completing my secret orders. My hand trembled with regret as I write this, the ship's course set southwest of Eternia. 7 days of standing by above the southern sea since I departed Eternia. I spotted the pillar of light rising in the distance. The Grand Marshal has fallen, and Everlast Tower with him. The Earth Crystal is lost. News of the battle's result came much delayed. As I read of the vicious struggle between the Grand Marshal and the vessel's forces, and its result, I felt as if my heart were being crushed. I have never known such despair. Seems the Grand Marshal lives by Lord DeRozo's intervention, but he will never again swing a sword. Still, the knowledge that Adia was not forced to slay her own father gives me some solace. As I awaited the vessel's arrival high above the sea, I saw the Swordmaster's Yaglu fly past below, nearly skimming the water. I responded to its swift approach with a demand for the captain's identity. The thick, grating voice that replied was answer enough. It was Eumire Astray, commander of the Swordbearers. The man who dragged the duchy into Eisenberg's civil war had turned tail and run as soon as his prospects grew faint. A contemptible sham of a leader. When asked whether the Swordmaster or any Eternian personnel were aboard, I was answered with a hailstorm of bullets. I choked back my mounting rage, giving the order to my gunner to open fire. Minutes later, the remains of the Yagyu were sinking beneath the wave-stained blood red by the setting sun. How much longer until the vessel arrives at the pillar? And then we read this. And saw the, spooky sight. It's not in here, is it? This one's not quite as long as this one was. Didn't have all the fun pictures. Alright, that was a lot, but it's out of the way. We've got new memos. Oh, this is just because of the last summon I picked up. Right. Got confused. Deus Ex, Clockwork Spider. Research notes. I came across a bundle of ancient-looking paper in the halls of Everlast Tower, penned by research as the Temple of Earth. These are basically what we've already read, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. And then, these were also here, but they're just the Vampire Gallery pictures. Alright, that was a lot. Let's, talk about that, like we actually read it.
When we go to the Crystal Temples, will you perform the Rite of Awakening again?
Ares' brooch seems to show that the crystals are no longer awakened. The rite must be performed.
Do you have your Vestal garb?
It was safely stored among our belongings.
Along with that Bravo bikini.
Let's go. Bravo bikini, still intact.
Huh? How do you know about that?
That's it. Why? Oh, just the fact that she still carried it around?
Anyway, the existence of these items is more evidence that this is no mere warping of time. We obtained both the Vestal garb and the Bravo bikini after going to Anshan. It doesn't make sense for us to have them now. The clock has not simply been wound back, it seems.
What's that?
Everyone down!
Is it the Great Chasm? It could be the Eternian Sky Knights attacking!
This is when Henkel showed up? Oh. Oh, they were with us when we went into the light, so it makes sense they would be here.
Well, I'll be. What are you doing here, Dats?
Ah, there you are. This was the right place.
Hold up. So you know who we are, Dats?
What? Of course I do. What are you talking about?
Well, how do I explain? Oh, are Zats and the Tavern Proprietress with you?
Yeah, they're both fine. They're on the airship.
Airship?
Right. We have the echelon all loaded up as well. We found ourselves on the deck all of a sudden, up in the skies to the east of the kingdom.
So, what exactly is going on?
This is good news! Let's head for Grandship right away then!
Something bizarre is happening, that's for sure. If I didn't know better, I'd say we were hallucinating.
I'm just happy the good old drunken pig and you lot are both fine.
It's good to have a woman on our side at a time like this.
What does that mean, Dats?
With Dats and Zats here, we can be certain we haven't gone back in time, no?
Perhaps time started going backwards for those of us there at the Holy Pillar.
In that case, where are our past selves from this point in time?
I haven't a clue.
No point trying to work this out logically. Let's start by doing what we can. Right, Agnès?
We're lucky to have Grandship. It should be a quick flight to the Crystal Temples.
Well, let's head to one of the temples and see what is up. Leave the piloting to me.
I really thought they would talk about the journal more. Why I decided to read it when I did. Naval attachment. No, I think we'll repair the echelon and keep on using her. What's going on? Well, I was just talking to Dats and Zats about the echelon. They had an idea. An idea about the echelon? That's right, we're using her as a sea vessel now, but as you know, the echelon was originally an airship. Right, the sky stone that allowed her to fly was shattered. Right, I've heard that story before. But she's still an airship. Sure, she can sail the open sea, but not as well as a real sea vessel. Lucky for us, Grandship has plenty of seaworthy vessels stowed away. You can take your pick. If you want, we can get one of them ready for you to use. That's what we were talking about. Another ship, but I don't have any problem with the echelon just the way she is. And she's fast enough for our needs. I agree, but above all, we have become quite attached to the echelon. Yes, it's where I fought my very first battle after all. Even though I don't recall ever sailing it, I took to the helm with almost frightening ease. We had a hard time in that first when it attacked us, though. True, but that led me to meeting Tiz and the others. The echelon has been like another member of our family ever since. I suppose that settles it. You folks have become attached to the old girl, and I don't think anything I could say would change your mind. You can say that again. We're counting on you to keep the echelon ship-shape and seaworthy. Of course we will, just leave it to us. More. Ringabell sleep talk. Where's Ringabell? He's taking a little break, said something about not feeling well. Really? Didn't he just say leave the piloting to me? Is something the matter, Adia? Tats is looking for him. He says the hull's showing wear. He needed some materials to make repairs. I suppose I'll just have to wake him up. Sleeping like a baby. Who knew he was so cute when he sleeps? Black minus strike. Mastered. Up to Black Bane. Unleash powerful combo. But even with 1,000 lives. Stand ground. Auto Phoenix. Automatic HP recovery after battle. Is there something else? Mumble mumble. I like how this is like presenting us with a build if you want to use it. Like, hey, if you have Auto Phoenix and Stand Ground. I feel like Auto Phoenix is not great for a Black Knight, but as a support from someone else it could work. Like, you know, these are all the great things that a Black Dark Knight could use. The Grand Marshal. Even that move of his sure would be nice. Rampart to protect, probably, when you have low HP. Enough of this gibberish already. Wake up! Dats is looking for you. Aw, what's the harm in letting him sleep a little longer? Look, doesn't Ringabell look as happy as a pig in the mud? You're right, he does. Haha. What a silly goose. As you can see, there's a lot of shit on screen right now.